Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to MetrObelisk Radio's Firefly Retrospective. Today, we are going to take a look at the episode Out of Gas. Now, this episode was written by Tim Minear and directed by David Solomon. Now, this would be the only episode that David Solomon would direct. Now, his directing credits include other shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Las Vegas, Burn Notice, Dollhouse, Once Upon a Time, Grimm, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This was also the 5th episode to air on the Fox network during the show's initial release. Now, this episode is rather simple. An explosion occurs in the engine room on the Serenity, and it leaves the crew stranded in deep space fighting for their lives as a result of everything else that's related to the explosion, like no life support. It's really tense, right? Actually, no. This episode has a story that is told out of order and is peppered with backstory for Jane, Kaylee, and Inara. The episode starts with Mal falling to the ground and then cutting back to when he first acquired the Serenity. Then it cuts back to Mal walking through the door, and then it shows all of the events prior to the engine room exploding, and that's the way that it is throughout this entire episode, just this back and forth constantly. Like, honestly, I would rather split this episode into two. Have the one episode be the explosion in the engine room that leaves the crew to fight for their lives, and have the second episode be like a poker game of sorts that cuts back and forth between the poker game and the backstory for these characters. And this episode really felt like it had a rushed ending because it just had too much going on at once. You had the fight for survival along with the backstory for 3 characters. It feels like it's unfocused, almost as if the network or the writers didn't have enough faith in the strength of the survival story to carry the episode all the way through. In my opinion, this could have easily been a 2-hour episode if they wanted to leave in all the backstory for Jane, Kaylee, and Inara. Now, this episode to me is a missed opportunity. This could have been the most tense episode of Firefly and really showcased Malcolm's ability to be a captain. A captain's loyalty is to his crew. This episode does do that, but just like I said, it feels rushed because of how much goes on during the 45 minutes. This episode felt like a 90-minute / 2-part episode crammed into one 45-minute time slot. Had the episode been 90 minutes, all of the backstory for Jane, Kaylee, and Inara wouldn't have been an issue. Instead, because the episode is only 45 minutes long, the backstory of Jane, Kaylee, and Inara drags the episode to a screeching halt every time it's shown. And that's going to do it for this episode of our Firefly Retrospective. Come back next time when we look at the next episode in the series, Ariel.